Hello and welcome to Dad's Our Job podcast, episode 4. This is your host Adam Leatherbarron with Rob Horton and Callum Horton. Guys, how are we doing this week? We all good?
Yeah, evening. Everyone alright? I'm good.
I'm very well, thank you. Thank you for having me again.
Again.
Well, you weren't invited, you just keep turning up.
I know, but I'm here for vibes, mate. Don't worry about me.
Bit hard when you live round the corner, isn't it?
Hello?
Bit hard when you live round the corner.
I know, and he lives at the entrance to the estate, so I have to go past his house every day, unfortunately. So, yeah.
It's great.
Sorry about that, Cal.
Yeah, don't mention no more, people might start knocking on the door.
That's it. Or your fanboys.
Yeah.
So, family goals and own goals this week. What's occurring this week, guys?
Well,
What's occurring?
what's occurring?
That's very current, isn't it? Especially with Gavin and Stacey being filmed at the minute.
It is, isn't it? Because they're doing the final Christmas special, aren't they?
Yeah. Sorry.
That's all right. Talk about my family. So this week has been like a return to normality, and Danny started secondary school. I think I spoke a little bit about that last week, and Alea's gone back to nursery. But I'm not going to talk about that yet. I'm going to talk about this weekend. At the weekend, we went to a local pub nearby, and it's right by like a little river as well. So it's a really, really nice location, and we went there, and it was just amazing to watch the kids playing together outside, doing outside country kid type of things. So like Danny was climbing this tree that was just overlooking the water, and it was just really impressive to see how good he's got at doing it. Like, and then I went over and he was showing me how he was climbing it. I was like, well, can you go to that part? And he was like, oh, I don't know how to do that. And we kind of talked about how he could do it. And then Alea was trying to kind of copy him and trying to climb up the tree. So it was just really nice to see them playing outside and doing like the type of stuff that we probably would have done. I can remember going to Brampton Park and trying to climb the trees at the back and looking over into the cemetery on the other side. So it was just cool to see them doing like outdoorsy kid type things. And it was beautiful, by the way. It was wonderful there. It was a lovely hot day as well. But being there was a blessing and a curse, because unbeknownst to me, my wife, Kelly, had booked little boats for us all. Rowing boats.
Right.
So, just to kind of back up a little bit,
You was Captain Rob.
I was Captain Rob, right? And why are pirates called pirates, Cal?
Because they are.
So I am a very anxious person, right? So I don't like doing something I don't know how to do. It makes me feel very stressed, right? So I get into this boat with Kelly, and Alea joins us as well. And I've got out. I haven't got a clue which way to row. I'm working my way towards the reeds on the side, and then we get, maybe 20 meters away from where we started, and then one of the holders that was holding the oar broke. So now I've got nothing to hold the oar, and Danny is in the other boat with his auntie and uncle, and they're just gone like a duck to water they were. And there's me, like literally, me, Kelly, and Alea were just going around in circles. Like we could not get this thing, and in the end we had to kind of like fit it in a way that at an angle that we could just about row, right? But the problem is now the boat's pissed, or the oars are pissed, because they're not equal. And it was an absolute nightmare. So what was meant to be a really nice little row up this river was an absolute nightmare. I got back, eventually, it took us an hour, we had an hour. I got back and I was absolutely drenched. Like,
Was that just in sweat?
oh no, it was all sweat. There was no water in the
He
boat.
was soaking before he
I
got
was
in. He was so worried.
absolutely soaked, right? Or drenched through. This boat, you're meant to drive on the right, row on the right when you're in your boat.
That's where you're going wrong. You're driving a boat.
Yeah, I was rowing you're meant to row on the right. It was so bad that I ended up on the left in front of a boat, like a big boat with an engine coming towards us. And the guy was like, "That oar's not right, is it?" And I was like, "Got Sherlock Holmes here, spotting the obvious." And so now I'm trying to like get out of the way of this bloody boat that's coming up on me. Anyway, I got back to the shore. I was absolutely drenched. And then when we were getting out, Kelly tried to get out, and then the boat started to move away from the shore. And I didn't know how to react because I just didn't know what to do. So now she was literally like, like in those cartoons where someone's like stretched to their max. I thought she was going in.
Like, was it Wildy Coyote, Roadrunner?
Yeah, like, exactly.
Like,
right? And she was like literally just absolutely like, when like your fingers are peeling away. Right? So anyway, we made it on shore. We kissed and made up. Everyone was happy and it was fine. But it was a very, very stressful hour. So a blessing and a curse for me. Cal?
Yeah, so for me, actually completely the same. Did exactly the same thing. No, I'm joking. So I actually went to a wedding, family wedding. Long time coming. Congratulations to the couple. But it was actually a fantastic day. Bo was like a page boy. And it was actually a bit scary to start off with. We thought, it'd be really nice, dress him all up, and he'll walk down the aisle. He fell asleep, 30 minutes before his gig. He woke up. He was absolutely fuming because he had woke up. He was tired. He was crying. It actually got to the stage where the bride was like, listen, Heather, if you don't want to do it, we'll just pull him out. But he pulled around. And he was absolutely immense. He walked down the aisle. He was beaming with a big smile, which was really nice because obviously, like any wedding, you want your kids to be involved. So that was a little win. I'm going to say this was an own goal, but secretly I absolutely loved it. Obviously, the wedding's going on, and the 2-year-olds they're just running around like nutters. And obviously, Dad, secretly brings a ball in the back of the car. Yeah, so the wedding party's going on. I get the ball out. Think, oh yeah, have a little kick about. 11:30 at night. Bo, we're going home. Oh no, we're not. No, he just wants to carry on playing. But secretly, I absolutely loved it because basically I just played football. Go on,
so did you bring the ball then?
Yeah.
You did bring the ball.
I brought the ball. Yeah, so instead of, I did have a little dance, to be fair, I'm not going to lie. But basically, we just played on this manor house's lawn, smashing the ball about with about half the congregation who were men who thought, do you know what? Instead of going in there and having a drink and dancing, we've all come out and smashed the ball at each other. So we basically just all played football on the lawn and then went home. But Bo didn't want to go home, so I suppose the only goal is that he cried. But like I say, when he got into the hotel room, he absolutely zonked out. So it was a secret touch, and I actually quite enjoyed just playing football.
I'm sure Lily was really grateful for that. I mean, there's a reason in our family we called him Uncle Nobbed because
there's always an Uncle Nobbed.
There's an Uncle Nobbed in every family.
Well, to be fair, I basically had the creche. I had all the kids outside playing football with me. They absolutely loved it.
Mate, do you remember that time when you was looking after all our kids over at was it Crest in Temple Barnes?
Oh God,
and you were running up and down the stairs. Like I thought, that'll keep them quiet for 5 minutes. 40 minutes he was there for.
You talk about a dab, Rob. I was sweating. I needed a towel and everything.
It was.
We had strangers asking if their kids could join in as well. They thought I was on that.
It was the bit when you was like you're trying to think of something new, and then you run out of ideas, and you just put your phone up to your ear, and you went say hello, Nanny, and they're all chasing you. They're going hello, Nanny, and there's all these like 2-year-old kids just running around with their hands to their face, going hello, Nanny, hello, Nanny.
That's 15 years of working in primary school. That is.
So what he's saying is the phone is like the new Pied Piper. So he was just.
Well, yeah,
frolicking around.
You put Coco Melon on there. Yeah, you could snatch any kid, really. But yeah, don't do that, guys.
Yeah, don't joke about that.
Yeah, don't joke about that.
So, Adam,
me, I wish I was.
So you went to a wedding on a boat, is that right?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, my boat sunk, unfortunately. No, to be honest, guys, I
didn't know you was a Man United fan. Oh no, we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
No, so. The weekend just gone, Connie and Kerry went down to Southampton, just them two, to go and visit family in Southampton, and they've got a boat down in Hamble, which is really nice lifestyle that they
Great
live.
part of the world as well.
Yeah, it's nice.
Very
nice. So they left Friday morning, so I got home, we started our stream, that was really good. For those that haven't seen our stream on YouTube, go on that, and we've done a deadline day special. We had a few guests on there. There was Tabs, Retro Gooner, Jamie Boyce from Jamie Talks, and James Jones from We Are West Ham Pod. And so that was really good. But I didn't go to sleep until 3 o'clock in the morning because I was...
Why?
Well, because I wanted to punt our podcast and jump on a few streams from West Ham fans.
All right, yeah. That's what I thought.
That's what he's telling his wife, but secretly he was on the old rave.
Yeah, little rave. It was on the tequilas, but so I was a bit tired from that. The Saturday I was given some chores, blue jobs, as they say.
Yep.
You've got your blue jobs and your pink jobs, and blue jobs involve bins and tip. Won't go to the tip and that, so I had to clear the garage out, get rid of all. I still had stuff in boxes when we moved to the house from Hornchurch to Halstead, so I went in that box. I was like, oh, I forgot I had that.
Yeah.
Like a mini disco ball from my cocktail bar that I refound. So
Nice.
that was interesting. But in all, I was just pooped out and watching the football. Had a Chinese. Do what you do when the family's away, right? But if I'm completely honest, I missed my girls. I sat there. I didn't have a good night's sleep. I was knackered. And yeah, it's such a cop-out.
Are you on a promise or something?
No promise. I'm just being completely honest. Like, I sat there. I just had a dog to keep me company, but I missed them. Yeah, and for me, it was an own goal. When you think you get that free time to yourself and relax, have a lie in. I done it completely worked against me. I stayed up all night. I didn't get much sleep. You know, not when they go away, they're so a part of you now. And when they're gone, you miss it. Like, and then obviously they've had their nice weekend away, and they come back, and then because I haven't seen Holly for that 2 to 3 days, it felt like she had grown up so much over that short space of time. Like, her hair's like Doc from Back to the Future, like his wild white blonde hair. And she's come back, she's got it in a ponytail and stuff. It's all nice and tidy. Like, the clothes that she's wearing are a lot older now. And I felt like I've blinked and she's grown up so quickly. And that to me, it felt like I've missed that. It feels like I've missed it, but it's good to see her develop, But
I get you. So the FOMO is real. So I do a lot of work away on the weekend. So I travel a lot. At least 2 weekends out of 4, right? So, like, often my family are off doing things because why wouldn't they? And they come back and they'll be like, "Oh, we've been here and we did this," and I'm just kind of like, missed out again. So
yeah.
I do get it. Like, we all romanticize about this kind of like, oh, I've got 2 days to myself. I'm going to have Chinese night and pizza tomorrow.
I'm gonna watch the midday kickoff. I'm gonna watch the 3 o'clock kickoff.
I'm going to sit in my boxes all day.
Yeah.
Do nothing.
But then West Ham
your wives both
lost.
tell me you do that anyway.
Yeah, and like the sort of Saturday TV, other than like I say, listening to the Arsenal game and then listening to the results come in at 3 o'clock, and then West Ham come on at 5:30, and then when all the football was finished, WWE was on, the Bash in Berlin.
I watched that as well.
Yeah, so,
I watched a little bit of it anyway.
Yeah, so I literally had it was a sports fueled day on the box, but but the hindsight of it felt like a win for me, but in hindsight it was like an own goal. So it was an own goal weekend because of Miss Begin and my wife. I have to put that out there.
I'll tell you what, I'd really like to know what you've done wrong this week to plug that.
I ain't done nothing. It's just you think you get this free time and then you get it and it's like, it just felt very deflating.
He's just better than us.
You make a good point.
I'm ginger. I can't be better than anyone. I don't have a soul.
It is one of my biggest worries, missing out on stuff. Like, I know, obviously, you're always working away, and I know, but it is my biggest fear. Like, even getting home from work late, and I know it sounds stupid, but they're playing football every night, like me and Bo do. Like, I know it's stupid because it's only like maybe 2 hours, but you sort of think, well, they're only a baby for so long, isn't it? So, you want to try and be there as much as possible. But as you say, that's life, isn't it? And you've got to put food on the table.
You make the most of what you got at the time. So, like, I work away 2 weekends a month, but I'm also at home 3 days out of 5 during the week because I work from home and do my own thing. So you just kind of balance it and find find your things that you can do. Yeah,
I
exactly.
think it's quality, not quantity of time. You could be there all day but not spend no time with them.
Yes,
But it's actually being there and actually spending time, having that quality time. I think that's what I find you've got to do, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or try and do.
Yeah, I say that. You say you blink and the time goes so quickly. So, in a reflective sort of view, just cherish that every single moment, whether it's you're bathing your kids or you're going out to a theme park and making memories, or whatever. Just take mental note of everything, and because you don't know when it's gone.
Because as Whitney said, I believe that children are our future.
Oh, for God's sake. On that note, we were talking about the football that I was watching throughout the day, and let's talk about how Arsenal got on at the weekend.
Before we talk about Arsenal, let's all laugh at Man U. Let's all laugh at Man U. Ba-la-la-la. Ba-la-la-la. No longer the Red Devils. They're the Angels. They're too nice. They can't play football. They're rubbish.
Wow, I was not expecting the whole serenading song. We was just going to go the Daily United, as in like the Adrian Durham sort of dig at Arsenal, but you've gone for that there. You're gonna do chants, and
do you know what?
Are you going to sing that every week?
I'll sing it every week.
Yeah.
Listen, it's just so nice not to be Banter FC at the moment. And I know that people are going to say, "Oh, well, they won 2 trophies in 2 years." Do you know what? I am glad at the moment today. I am glad that Erik ten Hag has won another trophy, because it means he is still in a job. All right, and I'm not saying he should. I'm not like, oh, he should get sacked. I am saying we should keep Erik ten Hag in at Man United, because while Erik ten Hag is in at Man United, there is no identity, there is no style of play. Rashford can't kick a ball. All right, Mainu is their shining light, and nothing is happening. And while that is happening, I am happy. Right. So, and I know I'm not alone. All right. I am not alone. Denial is not a river in Egypt. I speak the truth. All right.
Okay.
Would anyone like to add to that? Because I'm very passionate.
I think from an Arsenal point of view, you pretty much hit that on the head. Cal, do you want to add to Rob's? Because obviously we've decided to encourage this segment more on this podcast, because I think every time we've spoken about the Premier League, Callum just brings up Man United on it. Whereas with me, I brought it up in the positive light for them to think that they would win the Premier League. But you don't win the Premier League after 3 games. But go on, Cal.
I mean, yeah, I agree with everything that Rob said. I think he's nicked my notes, to be honest with you.
He's nicked your own work.
Yeah, he's nicked my own work.
Just copy it, but don't make it look the same.
Yeah.
I don't think you can. I think it's all going to be the same outcome, isn't it?
How did the song go again? I think... Yeah, I mean, I think Man United are in such big trouble now. I'm not even going to put them top 10. I don't think they're going to make top 10. I can't see them getting anywhere near it. However, yeah, I am going to be controversial here, because I love everything that Rob said. But let's be honest, they did play Liverpool, and they must have expected not to get anywhere near it. So, if it was, I would love to jump more on it if it was someone, sort of around their level at the moment or lower. But they are playing a top 4 team, and let's be honest, that was expected. But the only thing that I was a bit shocked at, from what I watched, was there wasn't even any fight, was there? There was like no, as Rob said, no character. So, yeah, I mean, I love the fact, because Man United fans absolutely, ripped into Arsenal fans through our 15 years of it. And I know people go, as Rob said, we still ain't won nothing. But I think that's going to change this year. And even if it don't, at least we're playing entertaining football. You know what I mean? We've got a bit about us.
At least you're a lot nearer to it than what they are at the moment.
Yeah. It's not even about being nearer for me. It's about, being entertaining. I'm not being funny. Every time we watch the Arsenal game, I mean, I know we're going to talk about it, but, at least we've got a bit of fight. At least we've got, you're sitting there. Like, even on the weekend, all right, we know what happened and we're definitely going to go into it. But I still thought we were going to win. Literally, up to the 96th minute or whatever it went to, I'm going, we're going to nick this. Like, and I still think we had better chance than them as the game went on anyway. And I still think, I actually sitting there going, we should have won it. I was disappointed going, oh yes, look, we nicked a draw. Like, I'm actually going, well, actually, we've lost points there, because we should have still won it with 10 men. And like I say, I think that comes down to the spirit. Yeah, I love the fact Man United are struggling, and like I say, Ten Hag, keep doing what you're doing, mate. So you're doing well.
I think he's going to come back to haunt you, if I'm personally honest.
No, it probably will do. And do you know what? I would love the Man United fans so we're going to give it to us, but you've got to enjoy the moment. We talk about living in the moment, and I'm living in it, and I'm soaking it all up, and I'm watching every game going, come on, Ten Hag.
So you want them to ring in? What, are we going to go live one day just for Man United fans to ring in? And
we should do that. We should go instantly live and then just go, Man United fans, talk to 2 Arsenal fans about how rubbish you are.
Do you know
and
what?
a West Ham fan.
Do you know what the irony is? Right, Callum is absolutely right. Football is in the moment. Man United will go away and maybe win a Carabao Cup this year, and Erik ten Hag will still be there next year, for argument's sake, right? I don't care. Like, it is what it is. Right now, I would choose Arsenal over Man United 100% anyway, but in general, across all of the teams in the league, I would still want to be an Arsenal fan. Like, I just can't see, if I was a person who didn't support a football team, I'd be looking going, that team knows what they're doing. But I'm biased. So,
and we've broken no rules to get it as well. I'm just throwing that at it, but yeah.
Apparently,
yeah. Sorry, yeah. Apparently, that I'm aware of. Please say we haven't. Yeah, from what I'm aware of.
All right, let's talk about the game then. It was 1-1. There was a massive talking point about it.
So what game are you talking about now? Is it Arsenal?
We're talking about Arsenal,
Brighton.
Right,
so you finished about Man United.
Oh yeah, because it definitely wasn't 1-0
Okay,
Man United game.
Yeah, that was 3-0 and Mo Salah. But
thank you for the points as well, Mo Salah.
On the FPL. But yeah, so it was 1-0. There is a massive talking point. We'll get to that. But I think in terms of what we actually saw, I still don't think Arsenal have reached their final form yet. They're like a Super Saiyan level 3, and they're not Super Saiyan level 6 right now. So I think that there is so much more to see from what Arsenal are doing. I don't think they've played brilliantly in any of the 3 games. But they've done enough to get 7 points, and I think there's something to take from that, because even though we're not at our best, we still haven't lost a game. We've only conceded 1 goal, and I think we're in a good place. And I do wonder whether that is in part because we had so many players competing in the Euros and other competitions across the world, and I think that maybe, potentially Mikel is is one of those types of guys where actually maybe he's started slow to build up for a really big running, but I think that we saw flashes of how good Arsenal can be, and I think that
Havertz was brilliant.
Well, yeah, if you look at Havertz's goal, it's another goal for Havertz. That's 2 for him this season, but also, by the way, that's 5 goal involvements for Saka this season. Saka has been involved in every single goal that Arsenal have scored this season. We've scored 5, and Saka has been involved in all of them. And I think that shows a change in attitude for what Saka wants to bring this year. This is a different Saka. This is a
maturity. A
mature Saka, an evolved Saka, a hungry Saka. And I think that Saka wants it, and I think that's quite exciting for us. In terms, do you want to talk about the Rice sending off?
No, I let you start because I like it when you get rattled. So
no, do you know what? To be fair, I'm not rattled. We listened to this. No wait, we watched that game. Rice got sent off, and I said to you, "That's a sending off."
Oh no, I'm going to agree with you. Yeah, what Rice has done is a book of all things. I think especially as they've been told. Right at the beginning of the season, they're going to be cracking down on it. Letter of the law, 100% deserves send off, and he's stupid. Like, I think he's taken responsibility, and said, from what I'm aware of, he said, he knows he shouldn't have done it, and so on and so forth. But that was a turning point of the game, yeah. And unfortunately, at the end of the game, I was sitting there going, could that be the league now? I know that sounds ridiculous because I still know we've got another 35 games or whatever it is. Yeah. But I was that disappointed where I was thinking, maybe that has now put us in a predicament. And I know there's going to be twists and turns as the season goes on, but I did generally feel gutted. And I've got no quibbles. However, we know in the game there was other instances where people were kicking the ball. But another thing that I always say is, at the end of the day, you were the one that got caught. You can all moan about everyone else. You can say, "Oh, this is not fair. This is not that." But at the end of the day, it's the letter of the law. You were the one that got caught. You've got to take the responsibility. And unfortunately, the responsibility fell on the rest of the team. And what I loved about that responsibility falling on the rest of the team is the rest of the team stood up and stood strong. And that's what I love. At the end of the day, like I say, I felt coming out of that, we actually dropped 2 points and not actually gained one. And I still think, we should have won the game.
Yeah, let me jump in on that because one of the things I was actually thinking is people keep talking about these historically bad decisions against Arsenal, and of course I can name so many. I can go back as far as Robin van Persie getting sent off against Barcelona, right, for kicking the ball after the whistle, a la João Pedro, right? But for me, it was like he gave Cavani an opportunity to make a decision. And so by giving him that opportunity, he took it. So I kind of feel like he balled it on himself regardless of how weak it was. But I also think it's reflective of Declan Rice's season so far. He's already been booked twice and he's been sent off. I don't think he started very well. And actually, as much as we've talked about it, Adam, I still can't believe we've got him. I actually think he's been Arsenal's weakest player this season. And
that's a shame, isn't it?
But it's still better than anything you've got. But but I
was literally going to say the same thing.
But I also think that maybe him not being available against Spurs could be a good thing, because he has, and I do think there's a hangover there. You could argue that Saka hasn't had one, but there is a hangover there for him by the looks of it, and he hasn't started the season well. And actually, it might be a good thing against Spurs. So I think that it's a shame because he's done that to himself by giving Cavani an opportunity to make an opportunity.
So you said
to make a decision.
You said a comment there about Declan Rice he's better than what we've got. I mean, I'm pretty sure we've got at least 2 or 3 number 8s that are better than Declan Rice.
I'll grow up. Right. Okay. Let's continue talking about the football then, because obviously
Rice is a 6, isn't he?
Someone's let the kids in.
I mean, what would have been interesting?
Is Rice a number 8 or a number 6? Just to clarify.
But I think Rice unfortunately for Rice, he's playing there because, so the way I would analyse the situation is that Partey is playing where Rice will be playing, and that Mourinho is injured because Big Gab knocked him out. So I don't think Rice is going to stay there. And I know what your argument's going to be. Well, he's playing out of position. But you know what? He played out of position last year and he did all right. So yes and no. Yeah, I think. But
that's why I just raised it. I think if you're comparing number 8s, you look at Declan Rice to Lucas Paquetá.
But I also
who's a better number 8.
But I also think when you're looking at the 8, and the reason why I think Declan Rice was so good last year is Declan Rice was playing number 8 to Jorginho's number 6.
Yeah. And
I think that says a lot about how well Declan Rice was doing last season, which is why I'm being critical of him, because when you spend that kind of money on someone, they need to have a critical analysis.
Yeah. And when you've been that good as well.
Yeah.
But we're doing it out of love because
sorry to go on.
No, it's okay.
I just wanted to ask the question while it's relevant. But also to add, I want to ask another question. Do you feel Arsenal are being victimised by the Premier League's officiating?
So I listened to, it was probably TalkSport, but I heard someone analyse it, and they said that Arsenal, among the big teams, right, are the easiest to make an example of. So when people let's say Everton, all right, get decisions that cost them big points, right? From the outside, then you can say, well, do you know what? Arsenal had those decisions. And I kind of get it, because I feel like we've had some woeful decisions against us. I mean, bloody hell, Havertz got strangled a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah. What about Jesus getting abused, mate?
That was the same player in the same game.
Yeah, in the same game, yeah.
But so, like I said...
Mosquera, wasn't it?
From Wolves, right?
Yeah.
But
where's VAR for that? That's inappropriate touching. Surely there's no need for his hand to be where it was, in my opinion. But I prayed listen, we all know what a wind-up is. We know what he's doing. It's the same as we say, we talked about Declan Rice one. I was going to mention about Declan Rice one. It would have been interesting what the result would have been if Declan Rice just walked across and didn't flick the ball away. He just smashed the ball at him. Because technically he's still doing the same thing. He's still holding up play. But would he be booked for it just by walking across, not actually flicking the ball away? I know we never know. But, it's I don't know if we're harshly dealt with. I just think, this business, every fan's going to go, oh, it's not fair. It's always our team. Every fan's going to say that. But at the end of the day, you got to try and be squeaky clean or try and get away with it. And, I'm sure we've had our good times as well. But it's just the bad times flag up, and when it costs you potentially 2 points, which might win you the league next year, at the end of the year, it's going to be heartbreaking, isn't it? Because we can all look back at results in history.
Yeah. The reason why I asked that question is because there was a statistic that come up about the Premier League red cards per club since Arteta took over. It was 16.
Okay.
So Arsenal topped that with 16 red cards since 20th December 2019. The team in second are Wolves and Everton joined with 13.
Oh, 13.
Yeah.
Okay.
So basically, there was a post that was put out, and then it had been corrected by True Stats. Brighton, Chelsea, and Everton with 11, and 9 was Burnley, Sheffield United, West Ham, Villa, Palace, Man City.
The thing is, you've got to look at each sending off individually. You can't just stack them all together and go, "Oh, we're victimised." You've got to look.
That's 3 a season. That's 3 a season. That's quite a lot, isn't it?
Yeah, but then you've got to look
at it's going to cost you points.
And also to add to that, I think Arsenal went through a phase in like Arteta's second season where we had like 4 people sent off consecutively, like in 4 weeks.
Yeah, but I think Arteta came in and gone and said, like, everyone thinks you're weak. Like, let's be honest, Arsenal, they used to think, they're ticky-tacky footballs, they've got no backbone. And I think, when he first came in, Arteta was like, you've got to show you've got a bit about you. And he has brought players in that have. And I think Gabriel was one of the first signings, or first players that that he's sort of gone, right, we want players like you that will not leave a bit in, because that sounds awful, but have a bit about you and not take any nonsense. And I think that them sending off sort of create what we've got now. That sort of we're not to mess with. Let's be honest, we've got absolutely lumps at Arsenal. When was the last time we had proper lumps? You talk about the Invincible season was like Sol Campbell and Keown, Neyman, like you talk about big old boys. So I think some of that is a result of that transition into where we are now. So you got to look at each send off as an individual. But yeah.
Can I just sum up the Arsenal game very quickly, so we can move on to West Ham? When Rice was sent off, we were very shaky, and we conceded the goal while we were very shaky. We were easily cut open right through the middle of the pitch. Big Gabs probably could have done better with the initial tackle, and Partey did not track back, and that is why we conceded the goal. So that goal was a gift, and which is ironic because Matoma was absolutely rattling down the left-hand side of the pitch at the time, but the goal was a gift. We gave them that goal. And that's a shame, because actually the aftermath of that was fantastic mentality. We absorbed the pressure and shut up the shot, and actually we should have won the game. Saka and Havertz both had chances, and who knows what would have happened if Odegaard had made that pass to Calafiori on the left when it got, and it was just, I don't know why he played for the outside. He could have just gone for the inside and it would have been a great pass.
Yeah, I do recall.
But I actually think when we went down to the 10 men, it's the strongest we've looked this season. I actually thought, although we were absorbing pressure, it was the best I feel like we've looked.
It galvanised the rest of the team, because it was like, this is not a joke, we need points.
Have to get points.
We need to get
we
points.
have to get points here.
I agree with you.
And I do think we could have won it, and I actually think we should have won it.
Yeah.
So, but that's the Arsenal game anyway.
Yeah. So yes, that's Arsenal. We'll talk about West Ham's loss very quickly.
What? I did the 3-page analysis.
I'd like to hear it from a third person view.
I wrote in crayon, so it's really big writing. Hull.
Did you put the L backwards?
Yeah, of course.
So basically West Ham lost 3-1 to Man City with a Haaland masterclass, scoring a hat-trick. Back-to-back hat-tricks. First time since, was it Shearer, isn't it? Or something like that. The amount of goals he scored in a short space of time with...
The first one in this century. He's the first one to score 7 goals in this century.
What,
I saw
3
that
games?
stat.
Yeah.
The first 3 games scored 7 goals in this century.
Okay.
So, in terms of, as a fan opinion, I mean, I went in this game with literally no hope, because It's Man City, isn't
We
it?
did too, mate.
Yeah. So obviously with you dropping points early, you wanted West Ham to draw or take points.
It was like game week 38 all over again, mate.
The same result as well, funny enough. But the difference between the West Ham under Lopetegui to the West Ham of Moyes is that we actually looked like we could have nicked it. We could have nicked a point. We could have nicked 3 because our counter attacks and breaks at the time were I've not seen anything like that at West Ham for a long, long time. Probably since Bilic in the farewell Berlin season. But despite the defeat and Haaland just showing his absolute class, he had 19 touches of the ball and scored 3.
That second one when he spanked it was monstrous.
Yeah, the problem with that, I think our defence and CDM in Rodriguez and Alvarez, they gave him too much time. They gave him too much time and too much space, and I think you can't give Haaland a yard. So you've got to be tight on him but the problem is, if you've got 2 men on him, they've got De Bruyne, they've got Grealish, they've got Doku, they've got Silva. So it's like where you're kind of alienating one person, you're allowing another 8 to thrive.
I was about to say, are they more 6s or 8s?
I don't know, I'm not comparing them to Declan Rice, but the person I would compare to Declan Rice would be Rodri, but he wasn't playing.
Oh, he's a monster. Do you know, I reckon he could win the Ballon d'Or, by the way.
Rodri?
Yeah,
I'd give it to Carvajal, Real Madrid.
The right back?
Yeah, if that was me. I think there's a lot of positives to take from defeat. After the first 3 games, when we looked at the fixture list, you thought, this is a tough run-in. We hadn't beaten Crystal Palace away for a while. Aston Villa, top 4 team. We almost got a draw out of that, to be fair.
Yeah, you did.
I think substitutions against Palace changed the game, which was positive because we didn't make many substitutions last year when we were chasing the game or trying to win it. And we applied a kind of fearless way of playing, and the fans loved it. Despite the loss, despite the same result, there's hope. And I think West Ham fans can take that and look to the next game. We've got Fulham away, and then we've got Chelsea. I think
tough games.
Chelsea at home. So I think that we could mix out from both games. I don't think Chelsea are that convincing, despite beating.
There's no consistency there yet. Is there?
I think they're up. I think they're all up for grabs, and I think with the way we're playing, why not?
I also think London derbies are open. I honestly don't think London derbies.
We beat them 3-1 last year.
They're not rubber stamped, are they? It's like Arsenal could go to Tottenham and win 3-0 in the same way they could go and get spanked 3-0.
Yeah.
Like, they're not rubber stamped fixtures. Arsenal couldn't beat West Ham in December. So I think that they are games where they are more open because of what they are. And actually, I watched it on Match of the Day, I think, and I do think there was an element of West Ham rolling over a little bit and showing their belly to Man City, and Man City took full advantage of it. However, I know that it was fortunate goal, but Bowen's, like you said, the breakaway football from that, some of it was wonderful to watch. Bowen's breakaway goal.
One could have hit the post in the start of the second half.
Yeah, that's right, sorry. But Bowen's breakaway goal, that was as enjoyable because it was old-fashioned winger down the wing. It was entertaining to watch because it was a winger doing what wingers do.
But what a difference having someone like Wan-Bissaka, who's a pacey defender that Bowen can be supported by. Yeah. And it just adds so much threat to that. And I wish we kind of had that on the left a little bit more. But that's the next window, isn't it? That's what your boy Jamie Talks was talking about, because he was saying like Wan-Bissaka, and then I'm sorry, what's your central defender's name? The new one. Max Callum.
So Callum from Wolves, right? And then you've got Wan-Bissaka on these kind of signings that are kind of encapsulate what your new manager is, and it gave Bowen that freedom to go down the wing and do what a good winger does. Yeah, because I think that's been the problem where David Moyes' team, he expects everyone to run and chase back, and everyone's defending. It's 11 men behind the ball sort of scenario, which is good in a way, but you can't expect players that have got so much flair like Kudus to come back and start tracking players back and trying to tackle, because that's not their game. It's not what they're used to, and we did suffer from that last year. But to be fair, I think where we finished last season under Moyes was quite good.
considering the circumstances. But it faltered because we all knew that the end was near. I think players, management, staff, fans, everyone knew it fizzled out. Just silly games, silly losses. But this year, I think there's a lot more hope. There is Lopetegui is that step up, slight step up, but not a significant jump. But it's what we need at the time. But yes, sticking on to the Premier League matters. The most topical thing at the moment is obviously Leicester winning their appeal against the Premier League for a points deduction due to an accounting loophole. Rob, would you like to and Callum?
Yeah, I don't mind.
Elaborate on that.
Well, I think it's a big boo boo by the FA that they've been able to find this loophole or this glitch in the rules, if you like. I mean, saying that, fair play to Leicester to do it and like I say, get past for it. I don't know if they're going to try and appeal it the FA, but or if that's it. But I think ultimately it now opens doors for bigger problems in the future, unless they come out and put a line through it and put proper laws in place, or where they can't take advantage of the situation, if you like. But I do think it now puts the Premier League in a big as a big problem, and a mess, because now we all know about Man City, but also Everton, and we know there's other clubs, let's be honest, potentially Chelsea, with some of the stuff that that have been publicised.
That's to add on that, because Chelsea's sale of the two hotels for 75 million to Clear Lake, who also own Chelsea, that was deemed okay.
Yeah, well, I think it's just a bit of a mess, but so Leicester's argument was they had no jurisdiction because they'd been relegated when the accounts were published on June the 30th, 2023. So that's kind of where Leicester were kind of like, well, actually, we weren't a Premier League team anymore, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And that's what lawyers do. Lawyers' jobs, and well done lawyers, right, on this case. And I say that with gritted teeth, but if your laws are not written as clear as night and day, then you are opening yourself up for opportunists like this. Like apparently it's been reported that the Premier League are surprised and disappointed at the conclusion of this. But if they found a loophole, the rules need to be better written to avoid this. And they weren't. And this is the problem, because now, like you said, Chelsea have been okayed by the Premier League by the sale of these two properties to help them reach their financial fair play.
Yeah, the same way that Chelsea, that it's been okay that the same ownership group that owns Strasbourg can transfer 30 to 40 million pounds in transfer fees for people that have not really played for Chelsea. I mean, was it Washington, the Brazilian kid? He went to Strasbourg for 18 million quid.
Yeah.
Hasn't really played the game for Chelsea, but that's okay. But then when you get Jim Ratcliffe, going back to Man United, laugh at them, ha ha ha. Jim Ratcliffe, who also owns Nice, they couldn't buy Todibo for exactly the same reason.
It's like,
so what's the difference? So it's okay for Chelsea to do that, but then Man United can't do that with the ownership.
It's like professional trafficking at this point. It's ridiculous. I don't know how they get away with it.
It's borderline money laundering.
Yeah, but they've got to be found out. I think the concerning thing is that it's very foreboding for these 115 charges.
For clarity, that's an opinion, not a statement. By me.
But you know what I mean.
If anyone wants to sue me,
no, sure.
No
but like, it's very foreboding in terms of what these outcomes could be, because in other cases, like the Man City 115 charges, like, it's very messy. And actually, as much as people are exploiting these rules, Premier League probably has to look at themselves as well, actually, because their rules aren't very clear, and so people will find loopholes, like Chelsea have done, like Man City will probably do, and like Leicester have done, to avoid these points deductions. Yeah. And like, people keep talking about, and I know because I'm biased because Arsenal are my team, but all that's been reported this summer is Arsenal are trying to stay within their financial fair play. Okay, maybe it's because they want to go big next July and buy Isak, for argument's sake, right?
Yeah, as we said.
But you've got all these other teams who are trying their very best to be compliant and untouchable. But then there's other people exploiting the rules where they can.
Sorry, I just want to jump in and say that ultimately the failure is with the Premier League. Leicester are doing exactly what they do. They want, that they need to do. They obviously want to, not get fined, not get points deduction. I've got no issues with them because obviously they want to look after themselves. The Premier League have got to take responsibility, and completely outline what the rules are, so these things don't happen. I don't understand how $1 billion industry or business, let's be honest, business, has, not got their lawyers or got things in place. I mean, don't get me wrong, I know mistakes happen. We all make mistakes in our jobs, but these things should not be happening. The whole reason why, as you say, Arsenal or other clubs are trying to, as that we know of, are trying to keep in line with stuff, so that these things, that we don't get hit by these things, and that we are in the rules, and that we don't get relegated, we don't lose points. And I just think the Premier League really need to look at their rules and statements and what they're doing and go, boom, this is it. So it literally is cell-proof, it's unbreakable, and that clubs will get dealt with if needed.
I mean, in my opinion, with the Leicester City, like final thoughts on that, is that Leicester City got promoted. Did they get promoted? No. They were a Premier League club, so they abided to the rules and regulations before the season started, as does the other 19 clubs. So, although they had a bad season and they got relegated early and transferred their funds over, or Premier League shares, you're still taking advantage of taking £128 million Premier League money plus TV rights and your prize money, but then because you got relegated, that means, we're not a Premier League club anymore. But you still took the money for the season.
Loopholes.
I know, but it's morally wrong.
Were they not entitled to that money because they were a Premier League club?
Yeah, exactly. But they're entitled to that money, but they broke the transfer rules or the financial regulations whilst they were a Premier League club. Just because you've been relegated, it don't affect us no more.
No, but
don't work like that. But they found a way to get away with it, and it's wrong.
But this is where the thing is, the learning curve, isn't it? This is where the Premier League now got to sit back and go, right, here we go, these are new laws, so that clubs can't get away.
Premier League, just throw the book at these clubs early. Do it early. Don't sit on it. Just hit them hard. Like, how comes that Everton could get charged within 8 weeks for points deduction for spending less than what over their budget than what Leicester did 3 times? Leicester done it once, spent 25 million over their budget. They found a loophole and got away with it because they got relegated. So they're saying, what if Everton got relegated, they would have got away with it 3 times, got back promoted, come up and had more money from it. Like, it's just wrong. It's just something.
Do you know what?
Right with it.
You need to let it go.
For me?
Yeah. Let it go. And do you know what we need to do now?
It's not my club.
Do you know what we need to do now?
I'm very happy for Everton to get relegated.
We need to be singing for England. England!
That's a nice segue. I like that.
Thank
See
you
what you
very
did there.
You're welcome.
So
we need to talk about Mr. Lee Carsley and his first England team.
Yeah.
And what he's going to be doing in the next week or so. So, guys, what are we thinking about Mr. Carsley and his first England team?
For me, I think Carsley is a transitional coach. He's only an interim coach.
So was Southgate.
Yeah, he was. But do we want another Southgate? That's the argument.
Just as an early argument, apparently he is no Southgate.
Well,
football-wise.
Clearly, he didn't call up Ivan Toney. He didn't call up. I think Jude Bellingham's injured anyway, or injured. I'm saying loosely. There's a few players there like Kieran Trippier. I know he's in actual retirement anyway. It feels like a lot of the trusted Southgate guys, when he first come in and when he was under 21 manager, stayed and remained. I just feel it's the same thing again now. Like Carsley, I like the players that we're talking about, but I don't want to fall into that trap of, well, I'm only going to play this player all the time, despite the fact there's someone else there that's a better option. Like, i.e. Harry Kane at the Euros when we should have been playing Watkins a lot more.
Absolutely, 100% agree with that.
So I'm excited at the prospects of this under-21s, successful under-21s team. That to be said, because they beat Spain in the Euros last summer, and it's going to be purely focused around Cole Palmer, someone making his senior debut would be Morgan Gibbs-White. There's a Noni Madueke, who I've rated since his PSV youth days. I'm a big fan of the player.
I would have had him at Arsenal, by the way, in the transfer window, 100%.
He was a Spurs youth player, and he went to PSV to test his luck. And here's an interesting story that I know this firsthand. West Ham had were interested in Madueke, and he was available for £5 million from PSV. But the West Ham Academy had a cap of £2 million, so they couldn't buy him.
Gutted.
We could have bought him for £5 million. And the same applies to ex-Arsenal youth player, Yunus Musa, who was at Valencia. So we could have had these two monsters of players playing at West Ham, but the Academy were like, they're a bit too expensive, we won't buy them.
That's not their fault they've got a budget. Someone's given them that budget, right?
Yeah.
So that's a board issue for you, though, isn't it? Right.
Questions asked.
Right. Okay. Fine. But no. So I'm with you.
Sorry to go for a tangent there.
No. It's fine.
Yeah, sorry.
It's fine. We're fans of our clubs first. Well, I know I am.
Club before country.
I am that guy. I don't care if it makes me unpopular. I am a club before country guy. But I actually didn't hate Lee Carsley's first team.
No, I think the selection's great. Yeah.
And if the football is the football that he is playing with the under-21s, then I'm actually quite excited because I didn't hate Southgate, but I do think his football was not very desirable. But I do think that the notables for it, like you said, Madueke from Chelsea, Morgan Gibbs-White, Livramento from Newcastle gets his first call up, but also guy called Angel Gomez, Angel Gomez. He plays for Lille. He left United. He's from the United school of 2020. Joined Lille, and he has since that time played 117 times for Lille, and I think he scored 8 games as well. I did a little bit of research because I didn't know who he was.
Even won the French league as well with Lille.
So an exciting player, or a player that we don't know, and it's quite nice when you get to watch a player that you don't know about, who you want to root for, and it's rare where you get opportunities to root for someone that you don't know about. And for the record, I'm a bit of a Morgan Gibbs-White fan. I'm excited to look at Morgan Gibbs-White for England because I do think he's a very good central midfielder. But it's quite nice there to look at someone like Angel Gomez who you don't know, and you get to root for. So I am quite excited because it's different. I'm excited because it's different, not because I'm hopeful. And I think that's a distinction I want to make. I also want to say there's still no Benny Blanco, and he still doesn't care, and nor do we. So I think that's very important to say as well.
Again, that is. You've got an opportunity to call him up, but I think there's a lot more than just the coaching staff at the England setup, isn't it, for Ben White not to be...
I think that's the whole, because he's snubbed
Or is he retired and he's just not made available for selection?
But, regardless of what it is, he doesn't care, and he doesn't. It's quite, he is a professional footballer because he is good at professional football, right? He doesn't care, and Arsenal fans don't care. And all these, I love all these, he should never get called up for England again. Fine. Don't call him up. He doesn't care.
The thing is, there's so many, the FA have got so many, they've made a massive investment in the England youth setup to challenge the likes of France and Germany and Spain. And I think that they do have a successful youth team. But it's just applying that to the next step, which I'm worried about, and I don't think Carsley will have the credentials for that. We need someone a bit more mainstream. But Cal, what's your thoughts?
Do you know, I actually completely disagree. I don't think he's an interim manager. I think they want him. I think that they're using that as a chance for him to bed himself in. I think that he's the man that they want, and I actually think that that is the way to go. It makes complete sense. He knows the FA, he knows the players, he moves up with them, and I actually think it is the best way to run the national team. All this about, is he the right guy? Should we get someone else in? Should it be a foreigner? I know he's from Northern Ireland, but he was born in Birmingham, from what I believe.
Yeah, he's born in Birmingham, and funny enough, he represented Republic of Ireland.
Sorry, I apologise.
And that'll be his first game.
Yeah. So I mean,
Declan Rice vibes here.
Or Bellingham, Grealish, a lot like that.
I mean, I must admit, I actually think it's the right way to go. He knows the players, he knows them from the under 23s or under 21s, whatever it is, and I think that slowly moving up, it just makes sense. I think it actually is the way to go long term, and I would say whoever's doing that, now for the under 21s would be the next one to come in. I just think I like the transition as long as he's got the qualifications, which, let's be honest, we know they're going to. I don't think it's necessarily about winning anything. Southgate didn't win nothing, and you sit here and go. Or people have been saying, should we go the same way as Southgate? He's got us to 2 finals. Like, we've been closer than we've ever been in our whole lifetime. Yeah. The big question that I've got for you lads, and Rob touched on it, was, and I'll tell you what my opinion is, have we got to a stage with the England team where it comes over our style of play to just, so for instance, is it now you have to be entertaining as an England team, or is it about getting the job done? Because I'll tell you what my opinion is. We have now got the players like Cole Palmer, like Foden, who
Saka,
100% Saka, that
Bowen,
I love it, yeah.
Bowen, great player.
I
love Bowen. I love Bowen. You just can't play on the right.
Yeah. No, listen, I know, but have we got to a stage now where it's like, actually, we know we can win games because we have definitely got the players to win games. We've obviously proved that by getting to 2 finals. But now, and I think Southgate suffered with this, where it's not about just winning the games, camping if you like, or defending and scoring goals. But have we got to a stage now where we've got to be entertaining? I'm not saying ticky-tacky football, but it's got to be like,
no.
I want to enjoy watching England, because I think we have got to the stage where now we should be expressing ourselves, and we should be doing the Spanish thing by keeping the ball, having them little touches, then scoring. What do you think?
Who did you just turn into? Turn into like Bill Sykes and come here, bullseye. Have some water, mate. Jesus.
I've been working all day. I'm getting my husky voice. I'm tired.
That's your sexy voice. Listen,
he's on promise.
Listen, I got to be honest, Cal. When it comes to England, I don't care. I don't care if the football is boring. I didn't even care that I didn't like Southgate's football that much, because Southgate's football got the job done. Everyone wants to be entertained. Everyone wants a juggler. Don't care. If it gets the results, that's fine. And I actually think Lee Carsley will play a better brand of football, because I think traditionally Lee Carsley does play a more entertaining and juggling type of football. So I do think we'll probably get that. But when it comes to England, I don't care. When it's Arsenal, I want to be entertained, but actually I've been spoilt for the 38 years of my life, because Arsenal have always been entertaining, even when it was George Graham and it was 1-0 to the Arsenal. Like, it doesn't matter to me, all right, when it comes to England. And not everyone can have that Brazilian flair, or that, that Francais swag. Like, you can't have it. If you have to be pragmatic to get it done, be pragmatic to get it done. And Southgate came close twice, and I will always thank him for it, because it's the closest we have ever been in our lifetime.
Well, it's the most excited we've ever been about England, let's be honest. People talk about Euro 6, or whatever, but
Euro 96.
Yeah, I think, the recent years is I've actually gone, we're going to win this. We're going to win. Like, we are going to win it.
Yeah.
So I'll take my hats off to Southgate, but I do think it's now time where we have got to the players, them flair players, where we should be showing the skills that we've got. Personally, what do you think, Adam?
Just touching on it quickly. I'm all about results. International football. It's all about results. I don't care if we win 1-0 every game, as long as we win that trophy. And that's what I was frustrated about, because I defended the England team during the Euros because we wasn't winning convincingly, but we was getting the job done, and we got found out in the final by trying to play the Spanish way.
They were better at it.
Well, yeah, of course they are.
They were better at it.
Of course they are. But for me, again, I just want a winner. I want a winner in charge of the team. I know you could argue that Lee Carsley is a winner because he won the under-21s, but winning the youth tournaments, winning the senior tournament, the levels are completely different.
Can I ask you a question then, right? Because for me, I'm going to use two managers at my disposal, right? I am taking Lee Carsley over Poch every time.
Oh, absolutely.
So who's the guy then? Like you said that you want a winner and all that type of stuff.
Man City will be relegated soon, so it'll be Pep.
Pep is never going to manage the England team.
If they can afford him, then get Pep in. But
no. Pep's got to do France yet. He's got to do Italy yet.
Personally,
there's no way.
Personally, I think England missed the boat before the summer when they could have got rid of Southgate and got Jose Mourinho in. Personally, and I think that could still happen.
What, park the bus and set and forget?
Yeah, but he wins.
mean, that's basically what Southgate was doing, I guess.
But he wins.
No, he is a winner. I don't listen. I don't hate the Jose thing.
And for the record, the only club he's not won a trophy at has been Spurs.
And they fired him before the final.
Yeah,
Spursy.
and Ryan Mason as a thing. Just to throw that out there. But going back onto your on the other side of the argument, Cal, you made a good point about the progress and the infrastructure and the development side of it. And the other country you could look to that is Spain, who we lost to because they got De La Fuente as their head coach, and he managed that team from under 16, under 18, under 19, under 20, and then got the senior job for it. And the same thing, that's what Lopetegui done. Lopetegui was the youth manager at Spain for a good few teams, and then got the Spanish national job. And then was actually their most successful campaign in qualifiers leading up to the World Cup. And then Real Madrid were like, "Oh, you're actually pretty good. We'll sign you." And he goes, "Okay, I'll sign a contract," despite telling the players not to sign contracts during the transfer window, and then end up getting sacked before on the eve of the World Cup because of it. So it's things like that. So yeah, I'm for infrastructure and progressing, but it's when you're playing at the highest level of football, you just need someone to get the job done.
So do you think there's an element that England have copied Spain's homework?
I think
they would be stupid not to with the amount they've won.
No, but what I mean is that you talked about Lopetegui, and then you've talked about
the St. George's
but then
Park
you talked about
development.
Southgate and Lee Carsley's progressions.
Yeah, but you look at the trainers and the coaches that Spain have produced to what England have produced. So you've got a good group of players, but the coaching is always kind of lacked. So like the infrastructure is kind of is flawed because we're not producing
top managers.
Yeah. And I hope that Ashley Cole, who is now the assistant to Lee Carsley,
I think that's a fantastic appointment.
Is that person
Winner.
who makes that jump. And I'm desperate for it because one, he's idolised as one of the best English left backs ever, and for him to make that transition,
not one off.
No,
you've got to say he's the best ever.
Well, yeah, of course.
I think
he's
so.
I agree. I hate the fact that he went to Chelsea, but then I think there's more to that from what I've heard from interviews from him.
He's still our invincible.
He is still invincible, and he's still incredible. He's our boy. He's our youth team player.
Like when you think the amount of credentials that we got in terms of the playing squad, and like we spoke about Sven last week about having the golden generation and not succeeding with it. Then we've got all them players that are now retired and they're managing clubs elsewhere, or they've had quite, how can I put it, up and down sort of careers. Like you look at Lampard. Lampard was managing Derby, he done really well there. He got the Chelsea gig, had done well with the Chelsea youth team because
100%.
they couldn't buy anyone during the transfer window because they were banned. Again, another reason why Chelsea are doing what they do. But then as soon as they got wind that they could buy players, they sacked him, got Tuchel in. Then he went to Everton, and it was like that was a poison chalice job. But he kept him up. And then he bought
by hook or by. No, that was crazy.
But then he attracted players in that could help him keep him up. Like I know Dele Alli. You think
wasn't he sacked pretty quickly afterwards though? And Sean Dyche
sacked in the second season.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
So he kept him up, and then they had that kind of thing. But then again, he's frustrated. He went to buy a player and he couldn't buy him because they didn't have the cash. They bought Onana and that was it. They went, that's like, well, I need about 7 players, mate.
Not a bad player to sign, though, is he?
But yeah, that Frank Lampard, I think, Steven Gerrard again is another one. He went to Rangers, done really well, got a taste of Premier League football with Villa and kind of flopped with them.
Are you saying this because you think one of them could be England manager?
No, absolutely not. I think, and that's the problem. I think because they've been given it because of who they are rather than what they're capable of. But who knows? Maybe David Beckham as England manager one day. Yeah, Cal.
No, I think he's quite happy being the
Cooking
governor.
mushrooms on his griddle in his tent.
Yeah. Don't mess with Dave, all right? Me and Dave are mates.
Okay.
So, from the world of international football, Adam's going to talk to us a little bit about local football because he's got bros in different area codes. So, talk to us about our local football, please.
So obviously with the international teams taking place, and just a point on that, England have got Ireland and Finland in their next 2 up-and-coming games for the Nations League. But going back to the local side, obviously, we can't go and watch our beloved Arsenal and West Ham. More so West Ham than Arsenal for me. And but
I swear you said you was a secret Arsenal fan. That's why you wanted to join the pod.
The Reds do well.
I actually admitted, I can't believe I'm saying this on the waves now, but I was talking to my Arsenal mate Steve the other day.
Is that his name, Arsenal mate Steve?
Arsenal mate Steve.
Find him on Instagram.
And I actually admitted to the fact I liked the North London Forever song because I heard it in full.
It is a banger, isn't it?
But do you know whose song that is?
National anthem. That
Yes, I do know who it is.
It's
Birds of a Feather.
Birds of a Feather.
Yes, it is.
Whatever the weather.
Listen, I've got to say, I know it's a North London song, but you are from the same ends as me and Callum. How much does that resonate, that song? I don't care whether it's North London or South London or East London or whatever.
You've never really had a song, apart from The Wonder of You from Elvis when I've been over at the Emirates and stuff like that, but in the home end when the West Ham's been playing. But it is a song about the area and your club, and why shouldn't you adopt that? And I want to see more. I want to see more of it.
But it's not just...
I think of anthems. I don't think it's upper level anthems because it's quite new. I think it's a grower.
Yeah,
but when you look at Never Walk Alone and even Bubbles to an extent, they're classic songs that could be associated with the clubs, and it's just another part of the progress in Arsenal.
Yeah, I was just about to say it's about the fans have voted that in, but
but I also think it resonates because if you're from London, it doesn't matter if you're from North London or not. That is a song
about London. I've been in London.
Resonates with being from London. Yeah. Like you call everyone boss man. Like it's like all those little details in that song.
That's your culture shift, though, isn't it?
But that's what I mean. It's wonderful. It is even if it wasn't an Arsenal song, I think that song would have me because it is just about growing up and being a kid in London. I don't know how old he is, but it can't be a massive discrepancy between our ages, not really.
Yeah,
it's like old school grime with like Dizzy Rascal and Boys Better Know and all that because we were living in. We were living. But that's what we were living in. We were all living in that.
Well, Kano lived down the road from us.
Yeah, we lived through that. We knew what them boys were talking about because we lived it.
I still listen to the classic. I was listening to the classic grime tracks today, actually, like Wiley and.
I love it. That's us, isn't it?
Jamie South London. I think.
So just very quickly, greatest grime album of all time for me was Kano's "This Is England." That is by far the best grime album I've ever listened to. So highly recommend. But let's talk about our local teams then. Adam, what have you got for us?
Yeah, so tapping on to with international break, that gives everyone an opportunity to go and watch their smaller local teams that are in need of fans and support. And I wanted to raise this because I think it's very important that we should never neglect the grassroots side of the game. So in terms of, we'll go up from the National League down. So Braintree have got Woking.
Irons!
That's Iron.
Can I talk to you about Braintree?
But they're called the Glazers, actually.
Are they?
Yeah, because
bless them, Man United have invested.
Because they got their badge is actually a factory of glass makers.
That's why
they're called the Glazers.
I feel personally invested in Braintree Town FC because I am the only manager from Braintree Town FC to get them to the Champions League final and win the Champions League with Braintree Town FC.
Just for clarity, Manager in what realm?
FM24.
FM24. Football Manager 24. Okay.
And Jack Sims, by the way, he's left Braintree Town FC. He also sacked me off after the banner around the south because he wanted to go and play a better quality of football. But now who's laughing, Jack, because I won the Champions League. However, by the looks of it, Braintree Town FC could do with a goalkeeper because they're currently 18th in the league. They played 6, they've won 1 and drawn 3 and lost 2. Wow, however, there are silver linings. They have drawn the last 3 games. However, the sad thing with that is that in the last 3 games they have only scored 1 goal, and the last 2 games have been 0-0 draws. So they are playing a Woking that's in 12th, who have won 3 of their last 4. So it doesn't look good for Braintree Town FC, but fingers crossed for the boys. We can get it across the line. We can win the game.
Yep.
Up the iron.
Up the iron. That's it. The other National League game that is close to us, well, not so much now, but through upbringing, is Maidenhead v Dagenham and Redbridge. So the Daggers are away at Maidenhead, and they are Maidenhead are actually managed by ex-West Ham legend Alan Devonshire, because he's also always been a non-league manager because he didn't want the full-time qualifications. So he's always remained in the National League, never been a Football League manager.
How much do you know about him as a manager? Is it like a talent where you feel like could have
done
more?
He was an ex-Braintree manager as well, Alan Devonshire. Yeah, so he's managed quite a few teams down in the lower leagues.
I actually think I replaced him when I became manager.
but also the Carsley brothers, they were Braintree gaffers before they went to Lincoln.
Yeah.
But Maidenhead, interestingly, are reaping the benefits of West Ham buying Max Callum from Wolves because they were given an 8% sell-on fee of £40 million transfer.
Which works out
at... just under 400,000.
Someone asked Siri.
4 million.
Yeah, sorry, 4 million.
Yeah, just under 4 million for a non-league club. That is huge.
That's massive. That's like Peterborough.
That's a couple of years.
But
with Tony.
The thing that winds me up about that particular transfer is that Wolves negotiated that sell-on fee down from 20%.
Well done, Wolves.
Yeah, so Wolves were like, well, we'll accept a lower fee, ensuring that you get an 8% sell-on. That was their bargaining chip, but really they should have paid them about £8 million.
Do you know what though?
And I think it's disgusting. You don't negotiate that out unless there's something in it. But anyway, so that's Maidenhead v Dagenham and Redbridge. National League South, you've got Chelmsford City v Bath, Chesham v Averley. So Averley, the story of that is unbelievable. To think that they're in the National League South is great. Mm-hmm. This one's close to Callum's heart. You've got Hampton and Richmond Borough v Boreham Wood. So, Cal, would you like to explain why Boreham Wood is so close to your heart as a non-league fan?
He was a big EastEnders fan growing up, and that's where they film EastEnders.
No, I was very blessed to have 3 years at Boreham Wood in my younger days, many moons ago. But I've got a lot of love. I always keep an eye out on Boreham Wood, and obviously Danny Hunter, who's the chairman down there, and they are close to my heart. I was a boy when I went to Boreham Wood, and
where'd
you left the boy?
From?
I left a broken boy, but yeah. No.
Where was you before Boreham Wood?
I was at, so I had little spells at Millwall and Tottenham as a youth team boy, and then I also played for a Sunday League team called Redwood, which was made by Troy Townsend, which is who does the Kick It Out, which is a fantastic organisation. But I also had a little spell at Watford as well. Lucky.
And who was your manager at Watford?
Sean Dyche.
Sean Dyche.
We had a little loan spell from Boreham Wood. Very lucky.
And that's the voice he was doing earlier.
he was channeling his inner Dyche.
Yeah, I mean nothing too special, but it was nice as a young man to have them little experiences So like I say, Boreham Wood's always been very, very close to my heart, and so. Like I say, hopefully they can get a win. They've also played 7 games, 3 wins, 2 draws and 2 losses. They've recently got a new manager. Luke Garrard stepped away from the club last year. Hasn't got a new club actually, which I'm quite surprised. I think maybe he's having a little break before he makes his next move into management, and hopefully that will be soon. I think it's a bit of a miss to the leagues, but hopefully they can get a result. It'd be nice. Like I say, we will be trying to keep in touch with these lower league teams and keep you in touch, because I think it's good to promote them and
absolutely,
because you think it's good.
Yeah,
because you think it's good.
Yeah, I do. I want them to do well.
I'm winding you up.
I want them to get promoted again. You know what I mean? It's, for me to say, I had a little spell there, and they've gone from.
Attached to them.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I was on the wind up, Cal. I went fishing.
I've got about 1,000 programs up in the loft that I've collected while I was there.
Yeah, no, we're all right.
That's all right. If we ever need toilet paper, we know where they are.
They'll be worth money hopefully one day. Don't you worry about that.
But another National League South fixture worth looking at is Worthing v AFC Hornchurch. So I basically brought up around Rush Green, Romford, and Hornchurch was the nearest sort of high street, and I ended up living in Hornchurch for a good while. But Hornchurch doing very, very well. Mid-table for a team of that size, got a fantastic chairman. I think the Urchins could do quite well in that league. So I think for them it's about keeping consistency in that level, and then pushing on for what could be a massive year in the National League if they're successful. But then other two clubs worth noting to us locally is the Southern Football League Isthmian League Division 1, which is Spalding v AFC Sudbury, which is literally
down the Sudbury,
10 minutes up the road from us. But you shouldn't boo, because we've got a AFC Sudbury footballer on our estate that lives on our estate.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so don't boo him.
Please listen to us.
So Sudbury, they played Colchester in the FA Cup last year in the qualifiers. So
actually, they did. I think they did.
So that was a close called, close little rivalry which happened locally, and we'll finish it up there with Housestead Town, our local team, which is literally a stone's throw away. So up the Humbugs.
Up the Humbugs. Listen, big Housestead Town FC, big Housestead Town fan, but we're not doing very well because we are going to be playing Stansted, so it's a local derby.
Up the A120, right?
We are up the A120, just by Stansted Airport. But we are currently rock bottom, guys. So, unfortunately...
To be fair, this is the highest level that they've played at in the league system. And they're run by a fantastic chairman in Carl Pearce, who I know personally. And
so you've got to say that.
Yeah.
There goes your season ticket.
Yeah, that's it. No, I'll wait for my cup of tea and my cherry bakewell in the VIP lounge. Thank you.
Listen, I've been a couple of times to House of Town.
I think it's great.
It is a wonderful football club.
I think it's great.
I loved watching them play.
I love the stand.
Very entertaining.
I like the stand.
I like the stand.
It's original. So I think it's like 1940s. I think that stand.
And so the cobwebs.
Yeah, pretty much.
But
they used to have a railway. If people are familiar with Housestead sort of history, there used to be a railway line that ran across all the way up to Sudbury, I think.
Yeah, well, because there's pictures of it on the Lidl, isn't there?
Yeah,
on the Lidl shop.
Yeah,
but
it's a big shop.
No,
and there are other supermarkets if you want to use them. Just so you know.
A favour.
Mate, sorry, Lidl. Sorry, I have to say this. Lidl have just released a raspberry jam croissant.
And
it's unbelievable. Sorry, I had to say that because I've had it and I wasn't too sure about it, but then I ate it and it was fantastic. Literally the best croissant I've ever had in my life.
So is that what you're going to bring for us next recording?
I'm going to get to the front door of Lidl's tomorrow morning with their new exclusive raspberry jam donut croissant.
Right. Okay. Well, I don't leave to drive to Cornwall until 10 o'clock, so feel free to drop one. Around my house.
Lidl, you can have that advertisement for free. just give us all your croissants. Right. Sorry.
Well, now that he's finished going off on a tangent,
we
also need to talk about the fact that we are rock bottom. We've
mate, no one cares. Everyone's invested in the croissants now.
don't talk about my humbugs like that. Guys, we've lost 3 and we've got 1 point. And we're playing Stansted, who are 15th on 5 points. So
could be worse.
Maybe
after 3 games.
Maybe House of Town can get it done. So fingers crossed for you guys, because we are rooting for you. You are our local team. You are literally down the road from the Pigeons, which is our local pub. Me and Callum have been there with Dad to watch it, to watch them play, and
it's dog friendly stadium.
Dog friendly, really
dog,
nice place. It's a good place to go and watch football. So if you are local to sort of Sudbury, Braintree area, it's a great place to go and watch some football, and it's a good vibe.
And to be fair, their average attendance is 200 people.
Oh yeah, massive attendance for a local
team.
team.
For a team like House of Town, that's huge.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, that's the end of episode 4 of Dad's Our Job, and thanks guys. We'll see you next week.
And thank you as always for hosting us, Adam. Come back.